This sounds familiar. Your day just feels like a constant blur of putting out fires, right? The smoke never really clears. Well, in this explainer, we're going to talk about how to finally break that cycle. We're going to move from just firefighting to actually solving problems for good.
It's just so frustrating, isn't it? You solve one urgent issue, and it feels like two more immediately pop up to take its place. It's like you're playing a game of whack-a-mole, constantly reacting, instead of ever getting ahead and making real, meaningful progress.
And really, this is the core of it all. On one side, you've got firefighting. It's reactive, it's stressful, and honestly, it's just a short-term patch. But on the other side, you have true problem solving. That's proactive, it's controlled, and it leads to solutions that actually last. We're going to show you exactly how to make that leap.
Now, here's the good news. There's a system for this. It's not magic, it's a structured framework that can literally take you from that feeling of chaos to a sense of control.
And this is our roadmap to get there. It's a simple four-step process. First, we define the problem, then we find the real root cause. Third, we choose the right solution, and finally, we implement and monitor it. That's it. So, let's dive in.
Okay, step one, define the real problem. Now, I know this sounds super obvious, but believe me, this is where most people get it wrong right from the start. You absolutely cannot solve a problem you don't truly understand.
And the secret to really understanding it is crafting a solid problem statement. This isn't just, a complaint. It's a clear, concise description of the issue, what its impact is on the business, and what you want the future to look like instead.
And here's a super simple template you can use. For example, instead of just saying turnover is high, you'd say high employee turnover is causing significant project delays, and our goal is to reduce it by 20% within the next year. See how that completely transforms a vague complaint into a clear, actionable mission?
All right, now that we have a crystal clear problem, it's time to put on our detective hats. We're moving on to step 2, uncovering the root cause. This is all about digging past the symptoms to find out what's really going on underneath.
So you have to ask yourself this question. Are you fixing the leak in the ceiling, or are you just constantly mopping the floor? So many teams get stuck in this endless cycle of mopping because they never, ever climb up on the roof to find and fix the actual hole.
To help us start digging, we're going to use a simple but incredibly powerful technique that comes from Toyota. It's called the 5 whys.
Let's just walk through a quick example. So, a machine stops working. Okay, first question, why? Well, the fuse blew. Now, the single biggest mistake people make is they stop right here. They replace the fuse, pat themselves on the back, and move on, which basically guarantees this problem will happen again. We have to keep asking, why did the fuse blow? Turns out the machine was overloaded. Okay, why was it overloaded? A bearing was failing. Why was the bearing failing? It wasn't getting lubricated. And now for the final, most important question, why wasn't it lubricated? Because the preventative maintenance schedule was missed. Boom. The root problem isn't the fuse, it's the broken maintenance process. That's the thing we need to fix.
So now we know the root cause. It's time for step 3, choosing your solution. This is where all that analysis turns into a concrete plan of action.
First things first, let's brainstorm. Just get every possible idea out on the table. Don't judge them, just list them. And make sure you involve your team. They're the ones closest to the work, and they'll have some of the best insights. The whole goal here is just to get a huge range of options before we even think about narrowing things down.
Once you have a good list of ideas, it's time to evaluate them. A simple decision matrix like this can be a lifesaver. For each idea, just score it on its potential impact, how much effort it'll take, and how confident you are that it'll actually work. What you're looking for is that sweet spot, the high-impact, low-effort solutions.
Okay, we've done it. We've defined our problem, we've found the root cause, and we've chosen our solution. But let's be real, a great idea is completely useless without execution. And that brings us to our final critical step, implement and monitor.
A really solid implementation plan has 4 key parts. You need a clear owner, someone who is responsible for seeing it through. You need a success metric, a realistic timeline, and of course, clear communication to everyone involved. These aren't optional. They are absolutely essential for success.
Let's just double-click on that metric for a second. The key here is to pick just one primary metric to track. So for our machine example, it could be something like the percentage of on-time maintenance completed. If that number starts going up, you know your solution is working. Simple as that.
Okay, let's zoom out for a minute. This whole framework, it's so much more than just a quick fix for one issue. It's really about building a problem-solving culture within your entire team.
Because the real goal here isn't just to solve this one problem. It's to empower your team so they can solve any problem that comes their way. You're not just fixing a machine, you're basically upgrading your team's entire operating system.
So, here's my challenge to you. Think about it. What is one small, annoying, recurring fire that you can extinguish for good next week? Use this framework, dig down to find that root cause, and solve it permanently. Go on,